I need to be honest with you about something, and I've been sitting with this for days trying to figure out how to explain it. Tomorrow isn't just another Friday. Something massive is building in the cosmos right now, and I really think most people have no idea what's about to hit them. So here's what's happening. Tomorrow, December 20th, we're stepping into one of the most revealing astronomical events of the entire year. The Sun and Neptune are about to form this exact square at the very last degree of their signs. And I know that might sound technical, but stay with me because this is about to get really personal, really fast. Here's the thing, I don't think this is just about planets moving through space. I genuinely believe this is about truth finally breaking through. The kind of truth you've been avoiding, the kind that's been sitting right in front of you, but somehow you just couldn't see it, and tomorrow the blindfold comes off. Now, if you've been feeling unusually confused lately, like you're walking through fog, second-guessing decisions you were sure about, or feeling like something's off but you can't put your finger on what, there's a very specific reason that's happening, and I'm going to explain exactly what's going on in a minute. But first, I want you to understand something crucial. This isn't just happening to you. We're all about to have our blind spots exposed. And while that might sound scary, I actually think it's one of the most liberating things that could happen right now. Because you can't fix what you can't see, right? You've been living in a beautiful lie, and tomorrow it ends. Okay, so here's what I've been noticing, and honestly, I've been experiencing this myself too. For weeks now, maybe even months, there's been this strange disconnect between what we think is true and what's actually happening. It's like we've all been wearing rose-colored glasses without even realizing we put them on. The sun represents our conscious awareness. It's literally what we can see clearly. Neptune, that's the planet of illusions, dreams, and yes, deception. And when these two clash at the final degree of their signs, it's like someone suddenly turning on the lights in a room where you've been sitting in the dark, and what you see might not match what you imagined. I think tomorrow is going to be one of those moments where you look at something in your life, maybe a relationship, a belief, a situation you've been holding on to, and suddenly see it for what it really is. Not what you hoped it would be. Not what you convinced yourself it could become, but what it actually is right now in reality. And here's the part that really gets me. Neptune has been in Pisces for over a decade, since 2012 actually. That's 13 years of accumulated dreams, fantasies, and yes, delusions. Tomorrow, when the sun shines its light on all of that, we're not just seeing through one small illusion. I believe we're seeing through years of them. Has something in your life felt too good to be true? Or maybe you've been waiting for something to change, believing it would get better if you just had enough faith. That's Neptune's influence. And tomorrow, the sun is going to show you exactly where you've been kidding yourself. And honestly, as uncomfortable as that sounds, I think we all need this wake-up call. The first blind spot, you thought you were right, you weren't. So this first blind spot, and this one's hitting me hard personally, is about our beliefs, our certainty, that feeling of knowing you're on the right side of something, that your perspective is the correct one, that you've figured it out while others are still lost. Tomorrow's energy is specifically targeting this. The sun in Sagittarius is all about truth-seeking, philosophy, having the answers. But at that final degree, it's desperate to be right. It's holding on so tightly to its worldview because it's terrified of what happens if those beliefs crumble. And Neptune? Neptune doesn't care about your certainty. It dissolves everything it touches. So when these two square off tomorrow, I think we're going to see exactly where our righteousness has been, well, self-righteous. Where our truth was actually just our version of the truth. Maybe you've been absolutely certain about a political stance, a spiritual belief, or a life philosophy. Maybe you've even been preaching it to others, convinced you're helping them see the light. Tomorrow might show you where you've been blind to the complexity, the nuance, the other perspectives you've been dismissing. I was talking to a friend about this yesterday, and she said something that really stuck with me. What if the thing I'm most sure about is the thing I'm most wrong about? And honestly, that question has been haunting me. Because Neptune has this way of making us feel spiritually certain about things that are actually just comfortable illusions. This isn't about becoming cynical or losing all faith, but I really believe tomorrow is going to show us where our certainty has become dogma, where we've stopped questioning and started assuming, where we've been so busy being right that we've been blind to the damage our certainty might be causing to ourselves or to others. And if you're feeling defensive reading this, if there's a part of you that's like, no, but I really am right about this thing, pay attention to that. That resistance, that might be exactly where your blind spot is hiding. The second blind spot, you've been in love with potential, not reality. Okay, this second one is rough, and I really want to be gentle here because I think this is going to hit a lot of us where it hurts. Tomorrow isn't just about philosophical blind spots. It's about the people and situations we've been romanticizing. You know how Neptune creates this beautiful fog around things? It makes everything look soft and dreamy and full of possibility. Well, tomorrow, when the sun cuts through that fog, we're going to see people and situations as they actually are. Not as they could be, not as we wish they were, but as they genuinely are right now, today. And here's what's really interesting. Just hours after the Sun-Neptune square, Venus is going to square Saturn. Venus is about love and money. Saturn is about cold, hard reality. So not only are we seeing through the illusion, but we're immediately getting a reality check about what's actually sustainable. Maybe there's someone in your life, it could be a romantic partner, a business partner, a friend, and you've been seeing their potential. You know what I mean? You see who they could be if they just changed this one thing, if they just tried a little harder, if they just saw what you see in them. Does that resonate? Tomorrow might be the day you realize you've been in a relationship with a fantasy. You've been investing your time, energy, maybe even money into someone's potential rather than dealing with who they actually are. And I know that's painful. I've been there myself, holding on to hope that someone would become the version of them I could see so clearly. But here's the thing, and I really want you to hear this, recognizing this isn't failure. It's not giving up. I think it's finally seeing clearly enough to make a real decision. Because you can't have a real relationship with potential. You can only have a relationship with the person who's actually standing in front of you. The same goes for situations, that job that's about to get better, that project that's almost there, that opportunity that keeps almost happening. Tomorrow might show you where you've been waiting for something that's never actually going to arrive. Not because you don't deserve it, but because it was never real to begin with. It was Neptune's beautiful mirage. The third blind spot, you've been running from yourself. This third blind spot, and honestly this might be the deepest one, is about all the ways we've been avoiding ourselves. And I don't mean that in some vague spiritual way. I mean the specific concrete ways we've been using noise, busyness, and even seeking to avoid sitting with who we actually are. Neptune rules escapism. It rules everything we use to check out, whether that's substances, endless scrolling, constant drama, or even spiritual practices that keep us seeking instead of finding. And tomorrow, the sun is going to illuminate all of our escape routes. You know what's wild? Yesterday there was a new moon in Sagittarius, a dark moon. We planted seeds in the dark, made intentions we couldn't fully see. And now, less than 48 hours later, the sun is about to show us exactly what we've been avoiding by staying in motion. Have you noticed how busy you've been lately? How much you've been seeking answers, seeking experiences, seeking anything to avoid just being. That's not random. I think part of us knows this reveal is coming, and we're trying to outrun it. But here's what I've been realizing. All this seeking might actually be the blindness itself. Sagittarius, where the sun is tomorrow, is the eternal seeker, always looking for truth somewhere else, in the next book, the next teacher, the next experience. But what if the truth is that we already know? What if we've been seeking to avoid finding? I think tomorrow is going to force us to stop and look at what we've been running from. Maybe it's grief we haven't processed. Maybe it's a decision we know we need to make but keep postponing. Maybe it's the simple reality of who we are when we're not performing, not achieving, not constantly becoming something else. And here's something else. This isn't just about personal habits. I genuinely believe some of us have been using spiritual growth itself as an escape. We've been so focused on ascending, evolving, raising our vibration, that we've been blind to the fact that we're using spirituality to avoid being human. Does that make sense? Tomorrow might be the day you realize that all you're seeking has been a sophisticated way of not finding, that your constant growth has been a way of never having to accept where you are, that your spiritual practice has become another place to hide rather than a place to be revealed. The timeline is everything. Pay attention to December 14th. Okay, so here's something really specific I want you to think about. Last Saturday, December 14th, did something happen? Did something feel off, go wrong, or create unexpected conflict in your life? Because here's what's fascinating. Mars squared Neptune at the exact same point on December 14th, the same degree where the Sun and Neptune are squaring tomorrow. Mars is about action and conflict. So whatever got triggered or went sideways last weekend, tomorrow is when you're going to understand why. I think the universe has been setting this up. The conflict or confusion from the 14th was the trigger event. Tomorrow is the revelation. You're going to see what you missed, what you misunderstood, or what you were blind to that created that situation. And then, and this is the beautiful part, the Sun enters Capricorn tomorrow afternoon. Right after showing us our blind spots, right after dissolving our illusions, we get this massive shift into grounded, practical, let's build something real energy. It's like the universe is saying, okay, now that you can see clearly, let's actually create something solid. You're not broken, you're waking up. I really want you to understand something as we move through tomorrow's energy. If you feel confused, disappointed, or even a little betrayed by what gets revealed, you're not broken. You're not weak for having believed in something that turned out to be an illusion. You're human. We all have blind spots. We all have places where we prefer the comfortable lie to the uncomfortable truth. And honestly, sometimes we need those illusions for a while. Sometimes we're not ready to see clearly until we are. But I think tomorrow is showing us that we're ready now. As a collective, we're ready to stop pretending. We're ready to see what's real, even if it's not as pretty as what we imagined. Because here's the thing. You can't heal what you won't acknowledge. You can't change what you won't see, and you can't move forward if you're navigating by illusions. So when tomorrow comes and you suddenly see something clearly that's been fuzzy for months or even years, don't judge yourself for not seeing it sooner. Thank yourself for being ready to see it now. Because not everyone will be. Not everyone will let the blindfold fall. But if you're here listening to this, I think you're one of the ones who's ready for truth. And remember, this isn't just about losing our illusions, it's about gaining clarity. It's about finally seeing the real path forward instead of the imaginary one we've been following. Once you know where you really are, you can actually get to where you want to go. All right, if you're still here, thank you so much for staying with me through all of this. Seriously, it means the world. If this resonated with you and you want to see more content like this, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know. And please drop a comment below. I really want to hear what blind spots you think might be revealed for you tomorrow. What have you been sensing but not quite seeing? I read every single comment. And honestly, we're all going through this together. Take care of yourself tomorrow. Be gentle with whatever gets revealed, and I'll see you in the next one.